Hello and welcome back to another MTG Arena Standard Deck Tech. Today we're going to be going over the most popular deck from the first Mythic Championship coming in. So Sultai Midrange is the deck to beat in the format. It has fair game against pretty much everything in the meta. It has no extremely polarizing matchups where you instantly lose, and it's able to sideboard very flexibly in a variety of ways. So this flexibility and the number of options that are available in the colors blue, black, and green allow you to target your game plan for pretty much any meta. So this build that I put together is a mixed list of Andrea Mangucci's Channel Fireball deck tech list, as well as the 10-0 list from Noah Ma at the Mythic Championship in Cleveland. And so I think that this is tuned to best attack the current meta that I've been seeing over the past few days. One of the main flex changes from Noah Ma's Mythic Championship list that Andrea Mangucci went over in his video in Deck Tech is the inclusion of Doom Whisperer. So Doom Whisperer is a great mainboard card against control. It's a little bit cheaper than Carnage Tyrant at 5 mana versus 6. It allows you to filter your draws to be able to find cards you need, filter out lands so that you don't flood out. It's also very difficult to deal with for a lot of decks. Mono Red has to spend at least 2 cards to kill this. It cleanly blocks anything out of Mono Blue tempo. It blocks and guarantees a kill against any Drakes against Izzet. And overall, it just provides a lot of flexibility game 1, and you can always board it out for something better in games 2 and 3. With that particularly this is a pretty uncommon card in the lists right now that Andrea Mangucci, I believe, called criminally underplayed. So that being said, let's go through the rest of the cards. So we are playing 5 Mana Dorks, Llanowar Elves, and 1 copy of Incubation Druid. So I found myself boarding mana creatures out in a lot of matchups. Incubation Druid as a 2-drop feels a lot worse to have killed than a Llanowar Elves because you invested 1 extra mana into it. So I would say that that's worse than the Llanowar Elves and one of the first cards that you want to free up as a flex space. So there are a number of flex slots in this deck. Card choices with 2 to 3 items like these Hostage Takers, the Doom Whisperers, all of our spells. Those can be filled up to 4 or trimmed even further for things like Ravenous Chupacabra, Thief of Sanity. Some lists are running 1 Reclamation Sage in the sideboard. Doom Whisperers for Carnage Tyrants. There's a lot of ways to build this, and what you want to do is going to depend on what you see week to week. If you're seeing a lot of control, maybe you want up to 2 Carnage Tyrants for negate. If you're seeing a lot of mono red, maybe you want Ritual of Soot in your sideboard. You want to try to tune things based on what you're seeing. So continuing along, Hydroid Krasis is really the reason that Golgari Midrange went into blue. It's just an excellent card. This deck wants to play creatures that do more than one thing. You want to get value out of your creatures in addition to developing your board state. So Hydroid Krasis draws cards and gains you life on casts. That means even if they counter it, you still get those cards in that life. That's a huge advantage to this deck, having access to sort of counter-proof card advantage, and really improves the control matchup, as well as that life gain is good against aggro. So it's really just all around one of the best new additions to this deck, and it's the reason to play Sultai. We're running the Explore package with 4 Branchwalker, 4 Jade Light Ranger, and 4 Wild Growth Walker. Now, something that Andrea goes over in his Channel Fireball video is that people seem to like Wild Growth Walker more than they should. It really should be boarded out in a lot of games because, like I said earlier, you want creatures that do 2 things. You want to hit the battlefield and do something. Wild Growth Walker needs these other Explorer cards in order to get that extra value. It's bad in the mirror. You want to take it out. It can be bad against control. You want to take it out. It's really good against aggro decks for the life gain, and when you want to just sort of grow a quick Wild Growth Walker and steamroll your opponent before they can respond. So it can also be good in mono blue, but you really want to board this out more often than a lot of people are currently. We're running 2 Hostage Taker in this build. Hostage Taker should effectively read, destroy target Hydroid Krasis, and sometimes draw a Hydroid Krasis, right? That's really one of the best targets for this card. Even if you don't get to cast it, if your opponent can deal with your Hostage Taker before the next turn, where you would be casting at least a Hydroid Krasis for 2, right? Because this is 4 mana. Even if they get it back, it enters the battlefield on their side as a 0/0 because it doesn't get its counters back. So it's really great against the mirror. It's really great against mono blue, where you can steal one of their cheap creatures. If you can destroy something that has Curious Obsession cast on it already, that's a 2-for-1. We've already talked about Doom Whisperer. We've got 3 Vivian Reed. This is card advantage and destroy target mono blue or is it creature. We've got 3 cast downs, so this is just good creature removal if they're playing some kind of weird legendary that this can't deal with. We've got Vraska's Contempt, so that's good if they're playing like Merfolk or something, but a lot of the decks playing legendary creatures are sort of not in the most popular 5 decks, so cast down really is kind of our guaranteed removal. We've also got Hostage Takers to get things as well. Vraska's Contempt helps us deal with Planeswalkers. Now, we had been running the, I forget what it's called, the black-green, 1 black, 1 green, destroy target permanent, opponent gets a land, but a lot of builds are removing that because in a Hydroid Krasis format, we want to keep our opponents off of mana. Giving them that extra land can often be pretty bad if they're trying to get to a Planeswalker and control, trying to get to a Hydroid Krasis. If they're mono-red, sometimes they get stuck on 1 or 2 lands because they're not running that many. That bad Abrupt Decay, I forget what it's called, is often just a strictly worse cast down. 3 Find Finality. Unlike some of the sort of last expansion builds of Golgari that had a lot of graveyard synergies, really the only thing in our graveyard is Find. Find lets us recur cards. It's at worst a 2 mana draw 2, right? We're getting 2 creatures back. However, Finality is still an excellent effect that's usually a good board wipe if we can get it off that leaves us with a powerful creature. So it's win the game at best, draw 2 cards at its worst. It's still a great inclusion. We're running the standard land set. The builds aren't really changing too much on this, and you can sort of adjust it based on which rares you have in Arena or whatever you have in paper. Now, the sideboard can change a lot depending on what you're seeing day to day, week to week. This particular sideboard list is a little bit skewed toward countering control because I've been seeing just nothing but Esper control, at least in the silver and gold ranks in traditional ranked. So we're playing 4 Duress, a Disdainful Stroke, 3 Negates, as well as a Carnage Tyrant against control. So that's a lot of cards. We're taking out our Wild Growth Walkers, our Hostage Takers, our Kill spells against control. We really want to just sort of stop them from countering our things and be able to fight back when we need to. We're also running 1 extra cast down for creature-based decks that we want to kill something quickly. We are running a 1 of Crawl Harpooner. This kills anything in mono blue, and this will 99% of the time be able to kill a Drake, as well as being a blocker if it survives that fight. Cry of the Carnarium is really just a hedge against mono white. It's really the only matchup we want to bring that in. It can be good against mono red, however, it does not kill the elemental that grows Steamkin. And it does not kill when it's big enough, and it doesn't kill Chain Whirler, which are sort of the most dangerous cards out of that. We don't really care about their 1/1 and their 1/2 that becomes a 2/2 because our creatures are going to be able to block those pretty quickly. 2 Midnight Reaper is good in the mirror as well as grindier matchups. It gives us a little bit of ability to fight decks that are playing a lot of spot removal, as well while generating card advantage. Hostage Taker, we bring in where we want it against the mirror, against mono blue. Carnage Tyrant is for control and the mirror. It's just a difficult to deal with threat that starts to threaten a clock. If the board gets really clogged up with a bunch of creatures in the mirror, it's good. and against control it can't be countered, and they can't kill it with spot removal, so it's good. So that is a quick rundown of all the cards in this particular list. Again, you're going to want to try out different things. You're going to want to try out Thief of Sanity, Chupacabra, Reclamation Sage, depending on what you're seeing week to week. This week is March 4th, and I've been seeing a lot of control, so this is the list I've been running. If I'm seeing a lot more Sultai, I'm going to be playing Thieves of Sanity. If I'm seeing a lot of aggro, I'm going to be playing Ritual of Soot in the sideboard. And maybe changing around. Maybe I'm playing more Vraska's Contempts if I'm playing a lot of Planeswalker decks. Maybe I'm taking out the Explore package entirely for some other kind of value. It's really going to depend week for week, but all of that being said, let's get into some games. No lands. I think we're going to mulligan. All our colors, 2-drop. Sounds good. And a Llanowar Elves. We will leave that on top. Yeah, we're on the draw, so we'll be able to play that turn 1. Alright. Goblin Banneret. What kind of aggro deck are we playing against? No blocks. We only have 2 lands. It's a weird deck that I don't understand. Yeah, you can do 3 to me. I think we just pass. See what they do. Okay, they can pump both creatures here, so. Yep. If they do something dumb, like just pump this one up to 5, then I'll chump with. Maybe I'll just cast down. I see. Let's kill the one with the counter. And since they don't seem like they have anything else to do, I'll just block with Wild Growth Walker. We really do need the mana here, so it feels easier to chump that than to wasteland ourselves here. I'll just pass. See if they play something better for the cast down. Otherwise, I'll just cast down this card. Let's see. What do we care more about? Boros Challenger or Legion War Boss? I think we care more about Legion War Boss. Should have stopped before combat, but didn't. Forgot to click the thing, so I'm gonna get an extra couple of points in here, which is bad. Nice, we got our lands. Next turn we're playing a 2-mana Krasis. Is that lethal? Yes, it is. Alright, so that extra 2 points, and now 5 I took from the goblin by not killing that pre-combat ended up mattering. That's okay. This is a weird deck. I think we want Cry of the Carnarium. I think we want Cast Down. Vivian's pretty slow. Mana Dork is pretty slow. Didn't look like they had burn. So maybe Hostage Taker is good here. And yeah, we'll leave in an Incubation Druid. I mean, what we really want is lands to be able to play our spells. So hopefully we get a better draw here. Against Boros. I will play first. Yep, that seems like exactly what we want to be doing. I am getting a phone call. Doesn't matter. I get so many spam calls that if I don't have it saved or it's not something that I'm expecting, I usually just don't answer. If it's important, I'll leave a message. What are they? Lightning Strike. Alright, so their removal is Lightning Strikes. Let's just play this tapped. Play Branch Walker. Do we have 2 green sources? We do not, so we can't actually play this on turn 3. So I'm just going to send it to them. We want our lands. Yeah, I've been seeing the red-green version of Mono Red Aggro is pretty good. It gives you Cinder Vines, as well as some other things. Boros is a little bit questionable. I'm not sure if I like this particular build. So this will be a 2/2. He's stuck on lands. Let's just play this. It blocks cleanly here, and if he does decide to attack, I am very happy to trade. Alright, we found their 3rd land. Got another Lightning Strike. That's fine. Now, if we get a land here, I think that we want to get a Walker and a Ranger. Because this is aggro, we want to be able to just get a bunch of life gain. Play this out, blocks cleanly. He's already used half of his Lightning Strikes, so hopefully he doesn't have very good removal for this. If he wants to use something like a Skewer the Critics, that's fine. At least it's not going to my face. It's already gained me 3 life just by eating the bolt. But he's not going to opt for that. Let's play these 2 rather than just this. Yeah, I just want to build out the board so I have blockers. I'm never blocking Advanto Vanguard because I'll just kill it with that. I don't really want a Llanowar Elf. I want land to play my Doom Whisperer next turn. Alright, they've had enough. Too many Wild Growth Walkers for them. Alright, game 3, I don't think we want to change anything. Against Boros aggro with some token synergies. and mentor effects. At a larger disadvantage now that our opponent will be on the play, so we're looking for hands with more answers, but also ways to build out our board. Because just having a big 4/3 blocker, they can't do anything with their 2/3 mentor card. So Wild Growth Walker into Branch Walker are quite good here. Hand's fine. Let's play this tap since we don't have an activator for it currently, and I don't have a turn 1 play. Interesting. That is a good card to target with mentor attacks. So this turn he'll probably be attacking both. Pump this, give that, yeah. I'm gonna block here and ask his Contempt this when I have a chance. But I don't want him to get that. Okay. I'm gonna wait for him to invest the resource into pumping this and then kill it. And then next turn I'll play 2 walkers or a Vraska's Contempt, depending on how they're filling out the board this turn. I think he'd play this. Just cast down the banner. Benere. Unclear how that's pronounced. Aurelia. I think we're just Vrasking, contempting that main phase. You can deal 6 to me, that's fine. You only have 2 cards. Only 1 creature in the graveyard currently. Okay. Let's see. So if I wait until their attack step, can they both target this or just one? I haven't decided which one of these I'm going to exile yet. Let's see. Let's wait a second here and see how they're going to distribute the mentor counters. Okay. So they're doing this so that this one can target and that one can target, if they stack their triggers correctly. And then we'll exile this one. Okay. Steals 4. Yeah, this one deals the most. So we're just That is the perfect draw. Another one next turn is even better, and now I think that we've stabilized. That was a pretty lucky draw. That draw basically just won us the game. If they get another Aurelia, that's bad, but I don't think they'd be playing 4 of them since it is a little bit clunky as a legendary. So hopefully we find a hostage taker or something before they find another Aurelia. These now stonewall both of their challengers. And next turn we're playing another one of these for, what, 12 more life. I think that's a bad attack. Alright, turned the corner with a nice top deck of the Jade Light Ranger. Alright. Vizzardrix. It's my favorite card. Although I don't own any copies of it, unlike some people. For those of you who don't get that, there's like a whole meme of collecting copies of Vizzardrix. It's a really weird looking card. These are such bad hands. This is our best hand. Alright, Esper Control. Excellent. I'm curious what they're gonna take here. Probably Ranger. Ranger is my best card. Yeah, people are more scared of Wild Growth Walker than they ought to be. We'll keep this. Next turn we're playing Incubation Druid. And then if we draw land, we can play the Doom Whisperer. Keep in mind, this was off a Malta 5, so we're definitely significantly behind already. I assume they're holding up Absorb. If they absorb an Incubation Druid, it's not the end of the world. Yep, I'd rather they use it on that than our Doom Whisperer. Gotta watch out for Kaya's Wrath here. I don't know if they use it on 5 damage. Yeah, it's kind of land. It's Branch Walker, and let's see what's on top. Unless they want to absorb again. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Next turn we have Doom Whisperer up. Settle the wreckage. I will happily take land. Mortify. I will happily take lands. A find gets us decent value. We have our little explore Wombo combo. Mission briefing main phase. Mortify. Thought Erasure. Okay. So that's how they're going to get rid of our Doom Whisperer. Alright, well our opponent's tapped out. Threw a little bit of gas, but not really. Alright, we have a steady clock, just trying to get in as much chip damage as possible before Kaya's Wrath gets it all back. Yeah, we're in a poor position game 1 here. We've lost our Doom Whisperer. And the Mull to 5 just started our opponent off with much more resources. They are down to 1 card in hand, which is promising. If that's just a land, then we can start to crawl back with something like a Vivian Reed. Like they've used a lot of resources to be able to, you know, get through our stuff, and we still have 2 cards on the board. So, okay. Our opponent's out of cards. We are in a top deck war. Now I can memorial. Let's see. This is 4 total, so I can't play anything that I would want to. I think end of turn I get back the Doom Whisperer. We wait until end of turn to do this in case their draw is Thought Erasure. Or like a disinformation campaign. Yeah, anything that would make us discard. We want to hold off and crack the Memorial to Folly. End of turn. Yep. Alright, they only have 2 mana up. Oh, I didn't even realize that we still needed a land because they killed our elf. Alright. Probably going to crack this once, maybe twice, end of turn. Start filtering some of our lands into the graveyard. Yeah, I think a Vivian Reed is a great draw. I'm sure they have a counter, but we'll attack here and see how much mana they want to spend. The answer's none. Again, I doubt this resolves, but worth playing out just to eat another counter. I don't know if that's a good card to be playing. I guess, like, what does it get you back? Make sure we stop end of turn to filter our draw. Or if they cast something to kill this, we want to filter our draw. I like our opponent using mana main phase, discarded an island. Alright, we managed to get their game 1. It's not a very favored matchup. I think our opponent could have used their resources a little bit more, for a little bit more value. Like, why are we killing Llanowar elves? Alright. Disdainful Stroke. Negate. Duress. Carnage Tyrant. Cut that. Cut these. Cut these. And these. Let's take a Midnight Reaper as well. Actually, we'll just keep in our Incubation Druid. So we brought in all of our anti-control cards. Boarded out our walkers and our hostage takers and our creature removal, since it doesn't look like they're playing a version with creatures. If after boarding it turns out they're bringing in something like Thief of Sanity, we'll bring the hostage takers back in. Yeah, that game was a good example of how Doom Whisperer is just very strong game 1 against control. Let's see, no turn 1 duress. This hand is very clunky. They're going to Thought to Erasure the Doom Whisperer. We do have a chance to get it back with Memorial to Folly, and we have the turn 3 Jade Light Ranger. I guess it's keepable. Alright, turn 1. Turn 2, turn 3. By then I assume both of these are gone, and we'll have other cards. But that's a rough idea of what the game's going to look like. Our opponent's mulliganed. That's good for us. Hopefully we'll be able to eat another card with duress to maintain our card advantage, which is very important. Duress first. Let me cast that card this turn. Put it. You cast that card this turn. If that card would be put into your graveyard, I don't know why you would play that. I guess he just needs. Oh, he needs lands. He needs lands, so he was casting it for the Surveil to be able to look for lands. Let's take your Thought Erasure. With no lands, the rest of this is far away. Need to play a green mana to be able to play Ranger on 3. Let's look at Moment of Craving. That's fine. Do it now. I think we keep this. Opponent does not have a lot of land grab here. Let's see. Let's play Krasis for 2 just to block this. Doom Whisperer on 5, Carnage Tyrant on 6. Our opponent is hurting by not finding lands. Looks like they've got the Absorb. Alright. So we might have a... Alright, looks like they're starting to, get the right stuff. And this is going to hit this, right? So I just have to be careful. So I'm going to have to play strategically around the Settle the Wreckage. I'm going to, or wait until I draw Duress. I'm going to have to play this. So let's play these. this. This gives us threats that are not Carnage Tyrant. So we're not going to attack into that. I possibly should have... No, I don't have enough mana to break this and cast both, and I want to be able to start pushing 6 this turn. So I want to force you to either use Settle and leave my Carnage Tyrant up, or take 6. So we want to split our resources. This turn, I misplayed by not tapping my mana correctly. Because I would have liked to crack that for the Doom Whisperer. Okay. Maybe if I had to replay that turn to play around a counterspell. They can't play counterspell plus Settle, so I want to play that pre-combat so that they have to hold up the Settle for the Carnage Tyrant. So that's a slight misplay that I didn't consider. So we're going to do that again. We're going to use that concept now and play the Doom Whisper so we can have a chance to counter it. Maybe we just get Krasis with Memorial to Folly to get some cards. I think that's probably the best thing. Let's surveil a little bit end of turn here. Don't care about either of those. Let's do one more. Alright. Is that lethal? Yeah. Negate just lets us swing for lethal here. Alright. Our opponent didn't have, they got mana screwed here, but we ended up playing around everything and making sure that we didn't blow the items handed to us. Alright, this is probably going to be our last match for the video. Got 2-drop into 3-drop, into 4-drop. Seems like a keepable hand. And we're playing mono red. Steamkin on 2, a little bit dangerous. Keep that to make him scared. Probably going to use it on the Steamkin on turn 4. He's got 2 of them. He does not know that I have 2 Vraska's Contempts. 4. No, I can't Vraska's Contempt on 4 because I didn't play the right land. We don't want that. That's a misplay. Yeah, you do have to be more careful about it. I was overthinking stopping life loss. I mean, it doesn't look like it's going to matter that much. They just have some pressure here. Jeez. That is a busted opening. could kill me here. Alright, looks like my my little misplay didn't end up mattering. Alright, game 2. We really want to take out big stuff here, right? I'd rather have cast down than wait until turn 4 for Vraska's Contempt. We could have killed that Steamkin much faster. We like Duress to steal their burn spells. It's really bad. We like Hostage Taker too. No, we don't, because they can kill it easily with Lightning Strike effects. Yep, that's a keepable hand. We're on the play, so we can be a little bit slower with our play out the same game plan as before, but this time we are on the initiative. No turn 1 is also promising. He's got a shock. He's trying to think if he wants to save the shock for this game. Or just go face. Okay. I think that's a misplay. Yeah, we don't want an elf. The land is good. I'm gonna bolt it. Do you have several shots? It's a Lightning Strike. Main phase Lightning Strike the face is probably a misplay. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of how he's playing this. Next turn I play this plus this. For now I'm just going to play a Krasis for 2. This game's probably over as soon as I play Walker into Ranger. I'm not sure how many more instant speed 3 damage spells he's going to have left. He could play Wizard's Lightning now. Let's attack first and try to get him to use a Wizard's Lightning on our Jade Light Ranger or something. He was patient with it. Yeah, we'll keep that there. It'll this card is also just play it gain 3 in this matchup because they're going to use a bolt that they would otherwise send to my face on the Wild Growth Walker to prevent me from playing it with Jade Light Rangers. I have a cast down for anything scary. And he's used 4 out of his 8 total 3 damage spells, so it's more likely that they're in the bottom half of his deck than in his hand. So Wild Growth Walker is probably safe to just play out without having the Explore creature in hand In addition, that extra 1 damage is going to threaten lethal, so it's worth playing. Shoot me in the face. Yep. Threatening lethal was important there, I think. Game 3, there's nothing I really want to change. Yeah, we don't really like Cry of the Carnarium that much, because it does not kill Steamkin, which is really the only creature that is a must kill against them. Okay, this is a tricky hand. We have the turn 1 duress, or we do not have the turn 1 duress, because these are tap lands guaranteed. So it's probably going to be Llanowar Elf into Llanowar Elf duress. This is a risky keep. We're going to need to draw into our action. This really doesn't give us anything. However, it does quickly boost us up to 5 mana, and a Finality could potentially save us and give us a 3/3 elf to start pressuring and also defend against future hasty creatures. So it's a weird hand. It does have a game plan. We're going to steal at least 1 lightning strike, so I think it's fine. I still like the plan of Llanowar Elves turn 2 Elf Duress more than duressing on 1. Okay, so they're switching to a slower game plan here. Let's take their card draw. I think that's more important than 9 damage. 12 damage, really. We want to draw into things that are going to protect us from these. They have no creatures, so we don't want to cast down. Let's see. This gives us 3 mana. Let's attack with both of our creatures. They can block this one, but then we get to poke for 1. Let's just let this eat a burn spell. Right, this is a battle of using up their resources and hoping that they don't get to frenzy before we can get to stabilize. Alright, these are spells, not lands. That's important. Let's just play this tapped. Attack with all our creatures. I'm just going to save these. I want them to play 1 more creature, maybe 1 more field, and then we could Finality onto our Branchwalker. I think that's a strong play. Putting that up to 4 health makes it tricky for them to kill it. Well, they can always just bolt it before the effect goes through. Very tricky. Yeah, I guess I'll save the Finality plan until they're tapped out. Hope they get like a Frenzy or something, and then get tapped out. So until then, we'll just keep attacking. deals 4. Frightening. Yeah, it looks like they boarded out like most of their creatures. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I need to get rid of this because it's getting scary. I don't think he has the ability to kill this before. So that resolves. Oh, it didn't even make it big enough. Well, that's sad. For some reason, I'm bad at counting. Let's play a Krasis for 2, plus a Llanowar Elf. And we can find our Walker plus our Branch Walker. Needs is 1 damage. I think we need to get Walker and Branch Walker, and we need to play both this turn. Gonna have to use his lightning strike on the Wild Growth Walker. All right. I think that the unknown is a, what's it called? Experimental Frenzy. They're looking for lands. They find them. I take your Frenzy. Play out an Elf. Hit you for 9. Sure, I clicked the right button there. Our opponent only has 2 mana to work with, so we needed to have drawn 2 shocks. We did not. We ended up grinding our way out there. Definitely got lucky off of our opponents not top decking what they needed to kill us there. All right, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. We got quite a few games here, pretty long video. So if you made it this far, thank you for sticking with it. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave it a thumbs up and subscribe for more MTGA content coming soon. Feel free to ask any questions in the comments. Let me know if I made any misplays. I think that was a pretty sort of diverse range of decks to be able to showcase how to play around, including what to do kind of if you're unfamiliar with a deck like in that Boros video. I hope every single one of you has a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night whenever you are watching this, and so long.